Hello, I believe my paper tells me it's Wednesday, so hopefully this is Wednesday story time. If it isn't, I apologise. This is chapter 9, The Plan. Blimey, Norman gawped as Lucy tried to explain about the backwards world beneath their beds. So you think that's where our parents are, in the Woleb? Yep, Lucy said. That's what the Creakers said. They snatched them. And they want your dad's jacket. I have no idea why. They're coming back to snatch you tonight. Lucy looked at him and nodded. Blimey, Norman said again. Double blimey, Lucy added with a worried frown. Norman rustled up a scout's breakfast of egg and beans on his camping stove. By the time they sat down to eat, they were both so full of worry that neither of them had much of an appetite. Should we go for a walk, clear our heads? Norman suggested, noticing that Lucy hadn't eaten a single baked bean. Lucy smiled and nodded again, but as they wandered into the street, it soon became clear that Whiffington no longer looked like Whiffington at all. The kids had been alone for approximately 49 hours, and things started to get a little... Well, let's take a look at the chaos that Lucy and Norman saw. Billy Noshling has put his head inside the crisp vending machine and munched all 200 packets of crisps, even the prawn cocktail flavoured ones. Unfortunately, he now couldn't get his head back out again. The only way to free him would be to put some money into the machine and buy him. But since there were no grown-ups around to give the children pocket money, he had no choice but to stay there. Jackson Gilly had released 3 sharks into the public swimming pool and tried opening a small aquarium. However, he'd forgotten to mention the sharks to the children who were using the pool at the time. R.I.P. One whole street had its pavements replaced with trampolines, and the leisure centre had its trampolines replaced with pavement. Neither arrangement worked out very well. 4 children had accidentally flushed themselves down the toilet, clogging the pipes for the rest of the town. And worst of all, Scrummy McScroodle's sweets and stuff ran out of sweets and now only had stuff. We need to do something, Lucy said, looking around at the chaos surrounding them, when suddenly they heard a whisper. It's her, hissed the voice excitedly. It's the girl who knows what to do. And there was a rustle, and the leaves on the tree above them parted. A group of children emerged, clambering down to the branches like wild monkeys. Lucy counted 6 of them, all so dirty, and their clothes so ragged and torn that it was difficult to tell if they were boys or girls. As they swung down from the branches to the pavement, one of the wild children nudged another and said, Oscar, go on. The boy was shoved close to Lucy and Norman. We want our mummies and daddies back. Please help us. The filthy child said, his wild eyes suddenly large and worried, so that he looked like a sad kitten. Food, another one whispered while crouching behind the tree. And food, added the first child. Do you have any food? Lucy looked at Norman. Things had turned from bad to worse. It wasn't fun anymore. The novelty of having no grown-ups around was wearing off fast. These kids were tired and hungry. I've got some eggs and beans you can have, offered Norman. They're still in the pan in my, Before Norman could finish his sentence, the wild children scurried down the street in the direction of Norman and Lucy that Norman and Lucy had come from in search of his food. Okay, you're right. We need to do something, Norman admitted. But what? I need to go to the Woleb and get the grown-ups back, Lucy said, staring after the wild kids. I was afraid you were going to say that, said Norman, wiping the sweat from his forehead with his yellow scout scarf. But how are you going to do it? You don't know your way around the Woleb. You've got no idea how big it is, or it leads to, or whereabouts they're keeping your parents. It's impossible, he sighed. Unless what? Lucy asked hopefully. Unless we somehow manage to get one of those Creakers to take us to the grown-ups. Norman gazed into the distance, deep in thought. Lucy grabbed his arm. Norman, that's a brilliant idea, but how are we going to do it? What you doing? Squeaked Ella, annoying, popping out suddenly from behind them, making them both jump. Ella! Norman gasped. Lucy cried. They've been following us. Maybe, said Ella. Norman and Lucy looked at each other. How much of it did you hear? Lucy asked. Only all of it, sang Ella in an awful over-the-top operatic voice, flinging her arms around like a diva. I heard it all, oh, she wailed in a painful, screeching voice. Ella, you can't tell anyone what you've heard, Lucy shouted, cupping her hand over Ella's mouth to shut her up. It's a secret. Ugh, yuck, she licked my hand, she cried, snatching it away from Ella's grinning mouth. Please, I'm 6 years old, Ella said with such a dismissive wave of her hand. I know there's no such thing as monsters under the bed. Your silly stories don't scare me, you know. Stories, right, said Norman with a naughty little twinkle in his eye. Hey, Ella, if you're so brave, why don't you come to our ghost story sleepover tonight at Lucy's house? What? Cried Lucy. Norman quickly shot a look that said, play along. Yeah, right, I forgot. A sleepover, Lucy said as he realised what Norman was up to. She bit her lip to hide a smile. Norman really wasn't so bad after all. It'll be fun, we'll stay out past midnight and everything. That was Norman again. It'll be fun, we'll stay out past midnight and everything, Norman added. Midnight? Really? Come on, Norm, that's like so early. Millie Butkins was awake until 1 a.m. last night. You've got to do better than that. Okay, fine, 1 a.m, Norman agreed. Are you in? Ella looked suspiciously at them both for a moment before shrugging her shoulders. If you throw in a full packet of marshmallows and you count me in. Deal, Norman said, and they shook hands. Ella skipped merrily off towards Trampoline Avenue, leaving Norman and Lucy alone. 2 words, said Norman as they watched Ella disappear into the distance. Live bait. Okay. We do this bit now. Don't think it's going to hurt. Almond milk, butter, eggs, toilet rolls, toothpaste, AA batteries, dark chocolate. Oh, sorry, I needed someone to write my shopping list. Back to the story. And that will be the Creaker Trap, Chapter 10, which we will do tomorrow, Thursday. Cracked it. Hope everyone is keeping safe and well, and we shall see you when we see you.